I kept waiting for this movie to actually be funny. Not shocking, not loud, funny. And that moment just never came. About halfway through, I realized what was happening. The film wasn't building jokes, it was stacking escalation. Every scene felt like it was trying to top the last one in language, explicit talk, or just sheer volume, almost like it was competing with The Wolf of Wall Street for who could say more in less time. And the wild part is, underneath all of that noise, there's actually a simple message trying to exist. You just have to survive long enough to hear it. Joe's college road trip follows Joe taking his grandson across the country to visit colleges, and what should have been a generational road comedy turns into a nonstop barrage of profanity, nudity, sex scenes, and extended vulgar conversations that don't really build toward anything. The premise itself isn't bad. A stubborn old-school grandfather clashing with a modern kid while traveling through different parts of the country could have been sharp and even meaningful. Road trip stories are perfect for that kind of tension. Instead, the movie leans almost entirely on excess. It keeps pushing harder and louder, as if escalation alone equals comedy, and it doesn't. To be fair, the movie moves. It doesn't drag in a technical sense. The road structure keeps things changing visually, so it never feels stuck in one place. But movement isn't the same as momentum. Joe has always been crude. Medea has always been crude. That's part of the franchise DNA. The difference here is proportion. Earlier films balanced outrageous humor with some kind of grounding. There was contrast. You'd get the wild joke, then you'd get the lesson, or at least a moment of heart. Here, the crudeness isn't seasoning, it's the whole meal. And when everything is extreme, nothing feels clever. The cast commits. No one looks like they're phoning it in. They deliver the lines exactly as written, and they go all the way with the tone the movie sets. But that's part of the problem. When the script leans this heavily on explicit dialogue and repeated vulgar setups, the actors can't elevate it beyond what's on the page. There are long stretches that feel like filler disguised as edginess, extended conversations that circle around the same joke structure without a real punchline, shock without setup, noise without timing. At some point, it stops feeling rebellious and starts feeling careless, and that's where the frustration sets in. Because underneath all of that, the movie is trying to say something simple and actually worthwhile. History matters. We learn from the past so we don't repeat it. That's a solid idea. That's a real foundation. But if your story spends most of its time chasing excess and only pauses briefly to deliver its message, the message feels like an afterthought instead of the heartbeat. If the driving force is escalation instead of meaning, the meaning gets buried. You can be bold and wise at the same time. You can push boundaries and still have structure. But that takes discipline. It takes editing. It takes refinement. This felt rushed, like a loud draft instead of a finished script. Is it worth watching? If you already enjoy this style of humor and don't mind relentless, explicit content, you may find something to laugh at. For me, though, it just wasn't funny. Not once did I really laugh. And when a comedy doesn't make you laugh, everything else starts to feel heavier. It isn't just crude, it's thin. There's a decent sentence at the center of this movie about learning from history. The problem is that it takes 90 minutes of excess to get there. Movies don't have to be clean to be meaningful. They don't even have to be polite, but they do have to be intentional. This didn't feel intentional. It felt lazy. What disappoints me most isn't the language or the nudity. It's the missed opportunity. A road trip between generations could have explored legacy, culture, identity, even grace in a way that felt honest and sharp. Instead, it chooses the easiest laugh over the earned one, and easy laughs fade fast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more reviews. Until next time, choose substance over noise, and always stay rated.